Everyone, welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, please subscribe. I'd really love that. If you're returning, how you doing? What we're going to be talking about today is an email that came in from a community member, and she is responding to a video that I did. And she said, in school I had good teachers, my dad too. Socialism is a step to communism. Communism does not exist. Like a utopia. It cannot exist because it is impossible. Communism is a dystopia, which comes from the word utopia. Utopia, which is a word coined by Sir Thomas More. He wrote a book also titled Utopia. In the beginning of the book is a letter which he wrote explaining that utopia is a word which literally means no place. My dad, whose father fought in and survived World War II, said before he passed a few things. One was, he reminded me that President FDR was reticent about passing the Security Act and welfare, etc., because it could open the door to greed and corruption. Also, because he believed our educational foundation was the Bible. And overall, long term, this would not be healthy, but should be instead a safety net. That Social Security should be a type of or insurance for the disabled, retired, and elderly. It is for this reason that FDR said this should be a hand up, not a handout. Pure socialism is the road to communism, which cannot exist. This was the book by Marx and Engel. And Engel is E-N-G-E-L. So it looks like more being led over the edge of a cliff, or like Hansel and Gretel, because the devil has nothing new. However, the Bible says, with Jesus, all things are brand new. And by the way, Sir Thomas More, who wrote Utopia, was martyred as well. I just learned that recently. I hope you don't mind. I couldn't resist. No, this is absolutely wonderful. Thank you so very much for your thoughts and what you learned and what your grandfather said, because I think it is best that we learn from our elders and not so much from textbooks, because they've been there, they've done that, they've got the tattoo and the t-shirt, you know what I mean? And what better way to learn about communism, socialism, utopias, dystopias, than from someone who literally fought in World War II. My grandfather fought in World War II as well. And I think I learned more from him than I did in all of the 12 years that I did in school. So, I think it's amazing that we can take the lessons that we have learned from our great-grandparents, our grandparents, even our parents, and put those lessons to our that we have learned from them to our lives today. It's amazing, isn't it? Communism does not exist like a utopia. Communism is a dystopia. That's right, it is. And, if you were to ask some people, they would actually say that we're living in a communistic country. Although a lot of people don't believe that. I don't believe that. But you ask one side and they'll say, well, this is communism. We're living under a dictatorship. No, you don't want to live under a dictatorship, but some believe that we are. But you can give them all the facts in black and white and to say that we're not living under a dictatorship or in a communist country, and they would give you all of their facts on how we are. You know what I mean? But this was wonderful, and I thank you. I love emails like this on how you learned. You know what I mean? And I wish I could get more emails like this. I really do. I thank you very much for this. And here's something else that was sent in as well. This was sent in by a community member, and it says, in exchange for money, Scataglia, Scattaglia, and Terraciano, Terraciano, each accessed the DMV's database in Sacramento to alter the records of applicants to fraudulently show that the applicants had passed the required written test when in truth the applicants had not passed the test or at times even taken written tests. In doing so, this caused the DMV to issue permits to those drivers as well as issue completed CDLs upon the applicants passing the behind-the-wheel driving test. In addition, they also accessed the DMV database to fraudulently alter applicants' records to show that the applicants had passed the driving test despite the applicants not having taken or passed those tests. According to plea agreements, Scataglia caused at least 68 fraudulent CDLs, including permits to be issued, and Terraciano caused at least 148 fraudulent CDLs, including permits to be issued. And this is all according to ice.gov. Wow. And this is all because of the incident that happened with the truck driver who was an immigrant, I believe. Absolutely absurd. Should have never, ever, ever gotten those licenses. I'm going to leave you now with some videos that were sent in by other community members as well, okay? I will see you guys in the next one. You stay safe, you stay positive, you keep prepping, and as always, fearless and God bless. Ciao.
You folks planning on going to burn an American flag tomorrow? I ask you to do me one favor before you go buy that lighter fluid and that flag. Go visit a VA hospital, talk to some of the veterans, or go walk into a VFW post or an American Legion. Go up to that little old man sitting at the bar in that old rickety bar store. Wore out the bar with his elbows for 50 years, sitting there drinking his life away because he can't get an image out of his head. Every moment he's awake, it's the same image. It's the image of himself in a filthy, shit, piss-filled foxhole, holding his best friend in his arms as his friend is bleeding out. And his friend says, why? The old man looks at him. He says, we're doing this so people have a right to be the biggest fucking douchebags that they want to be.
This map is suspicious. I'm gonna give you a heads up. Look at this map. All of the red is federal land. Black is cave systems. The black lines are the deep underground military bases and the subterranean tunnels that run throughout the country. Please look at how they all connect to a cave system. Hold on, I'm not done. So these are all the earthquakes that have taken place in the past 30 days in the United States. Now let me show you this. Told you it was suspicious. It's suspicious. Why? Why do the subterranean tunnels all lead to areas that are experiencing lots of earthquakes? Remember on the first map how all of the West Coast was federal land? Now look at the West Coast having all these earthquakes, and look at how many earthquakes are happening where a tunnel ends. Is it because the military is doing testing underground, or are these just natural earthquakes? Because I understand fault lines and all that, and earthquakes do happen. But the past 30 days, and they're all suspiciously around deep underground military bases? Fucking suspicious.
In just 8 hours overnight UTC, the Pacific Ring of Fire erupted with seismic activity. The strongest was a magnitude 6.0 east of Shumshu Island, Kamchatka, striking at a shallow 53 kilometers. It was followed by a strong 5.2 and two more quakes above magnitude 4.4 along the same stretch of Russia's coast, all linked to the massive 8.8 megathrust that hit the region just 4 weeks ago. Further south, Japan was hit by a magnitude 5.0 near Hachijojima Island, only 21 kilometers deep. New Zealand recorded a deep 4.5 east of Gisborne. In the southwest Pacific, Vanuatu was struck by a magnitude 4.9, Papua New Guinea by a 5.0, and Tonga by a strong 5.2. Mexico also joined the list, with quakes off Oaxaca and Chiapas, both above magnitude 4. That's 12 significant earthquakes, all on the Ring of Fire, in just 8 hours. A global arc of tectonic unrest stretching from the Russian Far East through Japan, down into the South Pacific, and across to the Americas, shaking almost continuously overnight. We'll have updates if anything major happens.
Bitch, I've been trying to get this map posted for the past 2 days. So when I say pause to read, because I am not going to be explaining too much because it always gets taken down. What I will say though is these are the deep underground military bases in the United States. These are all documented. I researched all of them. I made this map. Some of these look like military bases. Some of them do not. Some of them are in rest areas that are closed down to the public. Some of them are underneath farms. And some of them's exact location is just not known. Some of them have as many as 7 levels going down underground. And I'm not going to tell you what they do in there because, again, I don't want this video taken down, but you can go and look at it. Look up the Dulce Base in New Mexico. And now, let me show you how the cave systems in America line up with these. Well. Would you look at that? Seems to be a pattern there. Am I the only one that sees that? Let me know.